So when I say the name Bruce Lee, what's the first thing that pops into your head? It's probably those lightning-fast kicks, right? And that iconic battle cry. But he was so much more than just a movie star. He was a philosopher, an innovator, really a revolutionary who used his body and his minds to absolutely shatter centuries of tradition. The Way of the Intercepting Fist. This is the English translation of Jeet Kune Do. And believe me, that wasn't just some cool name for his martial art. It was the very core of his entire philosophy. It was an idea that would go on to challenge the very foundations of the martial arts world. And that really is the big question, isn't it? How did just one person manage to change the world with his hands and his mind? Well, that's what we're going to explore. We're going to trace his path all the way from the streets of Hong Kong to the absolute heights of Hollywood to understand how he became this global icon whose influence is still so powerful today. Okay, so to really get the icon, we have to go back to the beginning. We're talking about the streets of Hong Kong, where the seeds of this revolution were first planted. You know, he was actually born in America but raised in Hong Kong, and from a young age, Bruce Lee was kind of living this double life. See, on screen, he was a child actor, mostly because his dad was in the entertainment business. But off screen, he was this super energetic kid who got into street fights a lot. And that created a very real, very urgent need to learn how to defend himself. So that constant need for self-defense, it led him straight to the legendary grandmaster, Ip Man. He started training like crazy in Wing Chun, a style that's all about direct, close-range combat. This very traditional art form became his foundation, the system that he would later completely take apart and rebuild from the ground up. Now, when he came back to America as a young man, it wasn't just a change of scenery. Nope, this was the beginning of an intellectual journey that would forge his most famous and maybe his most controversial creation. At the University of Washington, Bruce Lee started training his mind with the exact same intensity he trained his body. He just devoured philosophy books. And this academic stuff, it gave him a brand new lens to look at the rigid classical martial arts he'd grown up with. And suddenly, he started questioning everything. And all that questioning, it led to this, Jeet Kune Do, the way of the intercepting fist. And he was so clear about this, it was not a new style. It was a philosophy, a framework for finding your own truth in combat by being practical, adaptable, and just ruthlessly efficient. Let's think about the difference this way. Traditional arts were kind of like stone, right? Built on these rigid forms, limited by their own rules. Lee's whole philosophy was to be like water, formless, adaptable. The goal wasn't to master a style, the goal was to master yourself. You'd use whatever worked from any art and you'd make it personal and direct. His whole philosophy can really be boiled down to these 3 powerful steps. Number 1, absorb what is useful. Take the best techniques from anywhere you can find them. Number 2, discard what is useless. Get rid of anything that's just for show or that falls apart under pressure. And number 3, probably the most important one, add what is essentially your own. It's a formula for constant evolution, not just in a fight, but in life itself. Okay, so you have this radical new philosophy and this absolutely unmatched physical ability. It was really only a matter of time before Bruce Lee took his vision to a global audience. And he did it through the power of movies. I mean, he started out as a martial arts instructor, but his on-screen charisma was just undeniable. His role as Kato in The Green Hornet was a total game changer. Even though he was the sidekick, he stole every single scene. Audiences had never seen anyone move like that before. The speed, the precision, it was electrifying. And it gave America its first taste of his revolutionary style. And from that point on, man, his rise was truly meteoric. And it all happened in this incredibly short, compressed period. In 71, The Big Boss makes him a huge star in Hong Kong. Then in 72, Fist of Fury proves it wasn't a fluke. That same year, with The Way of the Dragon, he takes complete creative control, writing, directing, and starring. And then just 1 year later, Enter the Dragon makes him a permanent global cinematic icon. It was just an explosive and completely unprecedented climb to the top. But you know, just as his star reached its absolute zenith, the story takes a really tragic turn. His early death cemented his status as a true legend, and honestly, his influence has only grown since then. 32. That's how old he was when he died, so suddenly on July 20th, 1973. It's just a shocking number. He was at the absolute peak of his physical powers, on the verge of even greater fame, and then he was gone. But the legacy he left behind is just immense. It stretches so far beyond the box office. He single-handedly made martial arts popular in the West. He totally revolutionized action movies. And he pioneered new ideas in fitness and nutrition. His philosophical approach to combat is still being studied, and it continues to inspire everyone from fighters to filmmakers to everyday people. You see, Bruce Lee's ultimate message was really one of self-liberation, to break free from the patterns and the rules that hold you back. So his story leaves us all with a pretty big question to think about. What rigid forms, what useless traditions in your own life are ready to be shattered?